Pranam Partho.
Pranam Kunal.
Partho, welcome to our new podcast in which we'll decide the topic as we go along. um, Partho, I wanted to understand from you. Most people in this world are very busy, happy, quote unquote, busy, engaged in the day to day life. They are always seeking something in the outwardly way. You know, classic capitalistic driven world countries like US and now more and more India as it follows more Western processes. Everyone wants to have an education first as one grows older, or their parents want education for their children. Good education for society validation. Education, then a job, then to get married, then take home loans and get a home, then get a car, then get better job and more money and save, and then go in the circle of doing the same for their children and so on. Virtually everyone is busy running in this, lack of better word, rat race, without trying to figure out why are they truly here, what is their purpose, why does it matter, what are they doing. I mean, are they just meant to be born and then die at the end paying off their loans, or just living this kind of a life? Many people like that, including me for sure, few years ago, do not even know what we are missing until we come to some deeper truth, some deeper fundamental understanding of what life may be about, and an introduction to, or a glimpse of, or some awareness of that there is some deeper truth which is beyond this day-to-day life, which could be termed as Vedanta, self-realization. There are many names for it, spiritual quest, which is way deeper, way bigger, etc. And once you realize this, start understanding this more and more, you start realizing how fake rest of the life is, or how driven by illusions, or driven by how less important the outwardly life is compared to this potential truth that you may seek. The first question I want to have, and it's probably going back to the basics of introduction to Vedanta or self-realization or any term we may use. Let's say I'm a very successful man in the eyes of the society, but surely the way the system works, I'm never enough. I still need more. I still need more money, more business, more validation, family, house, car, etc. First question, why should I bother with this at all? Why do I come to this point at all that there is something else I'm missing?
Oh.
The obvious answer, sorry. Go on.
Tell me.
The obvious answer is that you don't. You keep going as long as you want.
Yes.
I get that. But assume.
More than why should you come to it is why should that come to you in the first place? I mean, there's no reason for that to come to you. Though that possibility, let's call it the spiritual possibility, or the spiritual realm, domain, whatever, it's there around you all the time.
Correct.
You some way or the other, you'll see a book, you'll watch something on the television screen, someone will say something. If nothing, then a temple at least you'll see, or a church or something. But it's there in the environment all the time. But you won't even pick up the cues.
Yes.
Because you're not tuned into that frequency. You're tuned into what we call the sansaric frequency. So while you're tuned into the sansaric frequency, you won't even bother about it. You won't pick up any of the cues. It's like you're listening to rock music, or you're tuned into that frequency, and someone's playing classically in the background. You won't even
Appreciate it.
you won't even listen to it.
Hear it.
Even subconsciously, you won't pick it up. Because you're so focused on what you like. As we have spoken before, on where your rasa is. Wherever your rasa is, that's where your mind and your consciousness are.
At some point in this life or another, everyone does come to the spiritual realization. At some point. That's the...
Everyone meaning...
Most people would eventually, in some life or another, eventually turn to this.
Many lifetimes.
Over many lifetimes, they would come to this.
If you believe in many lifetimes, yes.
Yes.
Surely, sooner or later.
Sooner or later. If you were to share this idea with some novice like me, that sooner or later you may come to this, right? And you want to just help me understand this. How would the spiritual inner quest look like? How deeper, wider, higher it can expand you. And I'm making a role play, if I may. I'm so far rejecting this idea. I don't even know. I'm not tuning into the frequency.
Right.
And you're just trying to tell me that, of course, it's okay. You'll get to it when you get to it, or it comes to you when it comes to you. But here is a glimpse and why it matters, or why it may matter to you in the future. How would you give me that glimpse? Again, the reason for this is not for the spiritual seekers as of now. But this is for majority of them who don't even know what they're missing, who don't even know. And our attempt here is just to share, make them aware that this is a potential possibility.
I get it, but if you're asking me, I wouldn't share.
I'm requesting you to say. I know you wouldn't. I know you wouldn't, and normally you would say.
I never have all these years.
Of course.
Yeah. Unless someone really comes to.
So I'm coming. Yes.
And not once. First few times I'll shoo you away.
Okay. Of course.
So when you keep coming back, and I know that you mean business, that we'll start sharing. So are you saying you've been through all that?
Yes.
So okay. So this is role play.
So I mean spiritual business. Yes.
You mean spiritual business. Yeah. Okay. I've never thought of this really. So what I've always done, Kunal, is for someone like this person that you're referring to who comes and he or she has to have a question first. Even if he or she were to come to me and I would finally decide that this man means business, I'll ask you to sit down. But then what? I mean, ask me something. So you'll have to ask me something.
What is Vedanta?
All right. So that would be a good starting point. So, what is Vedanta? The quest for self-realization. Now, you'll probably ask, what is the self? Which is a logical question. So I will say the self that you truly are, which will then take you to the next question. Then what is this self that I truly am? And what is this self that I now appear to be, or the self that I believe myself to be? And that's where the process will start, where I will help you see. And this is never, Vedanta is never a teaching. And I mean, of course, people teach Vedanta, but I'm speaking personally. I would never teach Vedanta, but Vedanta is a dialogue. It's open.
Let's have that dialogue.
Dialogue. So we can have the dialogue. I mean, if you ask questions.
Sure. So
then you have to get into the role play properly.
We do.
So you're the questioner.
We do. Now we do.
Okay. So what's your question?
Am I not... So my understanding is that I am the self that I experience. Myself, I experience this body, mind. Is that me?
So you have to look at your body and mind closely, carefully, which I've never done before.
Yeah.
Normally people don't do that. Our education doesn't teach us to do that, doesn't train us. It's called, at one level, self-observation. Another level, in more Vedantic sense, called Atma-Vichar. Self-inquiry, looking into yourself, inquiring about yourself. What am I? Who am I? So you have to do a bit of that. So what is it that more prominent, more dominant for you, the body or how do you know yourself most of the time, as body or mind?
I think I look at myself as a mind-body complex.
Which is a bit theoretical.
Theoretical.
Because actually, it's more mind.
It's more mind because that's where I project, I interpret, I
Because
understand,
you're
I experience.
thinking, yes.
I experience everything in my mind.
Projecting, you're thinking, ideating.
My body is just sensory organ outward.
Well, there is a problem with the body. It's only then that you wake up to the body and then you say, oh, I am the body. So there has to be a problem. The body has no problem. You hardly think of the body. It's the mind. Mind, when I say mind, I mean thoughts and emotions, feelings, emotions, thoughts. Now, I would ask you to look more carefully at the mind. What is happening there? Is it all changing or is it static?
It's changing.
It's changing all the time. Correct. So what is today is not tomorrow.
Correct.
Thoughts are changing.
Correct.
Ideas are changing. Even your beliefs are changing. I mean, though it takes a long time for belief to change, but beliefs are changing too. Your feelings are changing. Emotions are changing. Your reactions are changing. Everything is changing.
Yes.
Everything that you call the mind is changing. Look still deeper. Whatever you call the mind, whatever you have in your mind, is it truly originally yours? Or has it come from somewhere else? Other sources?
I would say I get influenced by people, information, knowledge, content I consume one way or another.
So in Sanskrit, we call it prabhav.
Prabhav, yes.
So we are continuously under some prabhav or the other.
Yes.
And we are picking up things, borrowing things from everywhere. All our knowledge is borrowed knowledge, really. Our thoughts are all, again, derived thoughts, derivative borrowed thoughts from this source or that source or multiple sources. So when you really look into your mind to see what is truly yours, you hardly find anything. And the deeper you look into your mind, the more you find that your mind has been conditioned by all the experiences and all the learnings you have had since you were a child. Right?
Yes.
So now what do you see? Your mind is changing all the time. Nothing's permanent in your mind. It's nothing original in the mind. It's all constructs, projections from everywhere.
May I interrupt?
Yes, sure.
How about the ideas I get sometimes?
If you look very deep into the ideas, and lots of people have done that, and they spend a whole life doing that, to see where things come from in the mind, you find that there is a source. Take up any idea.
Yeah, I have an idea we should go to Mars. Let's assume Elon Musk hasn't done it, or go to another galaxy or something.
Yeah, so this obviously comes from what you have read and seen around you.
Yeah.
And somebody has told you there is a planet there and given you a name for it. And you see that you're going from Chandigarh to Delhi. So you say, why not go to that planet?
So it's derived.
It is derived. It's completely derived.
Almost everything.
If you were never told that there are planets there like Earth, you would never think of going there.
Yeah.
A village child, if you were being brought up in
thousands of years ago,
where education was not
before astronomy came in.
Before astronomy, you wouldn't think of going anywhere. So it's derived. Think about your work, your business, everything, every idea you've got is
all derived.
Combinations and permutations of the knowledge and data you already have. You're just playing around. My brain is playing around with that. It's
Sure.
Everything that we know and we hold in our mind is a permutation and combination of data already there. You can never have an idea of something you do not know. You can never have a thought of something you've never known.
How about Ramanujan coming up with infinity? How about Einstein coming up with...
So the way they have put together separate elements of what they've already known, the way they have put together would be original. But yes, if you're talking about people like that, then they come to what is an insight.
Yes. So that comes from a
For
different
that
source.
also they have to have the background knowledge. If
Yes.
Einstein and Ramanujan did not know any physics or mathematics,
Yeah.
they wouldn't have come up with these insights. Even the rishis of old, I'm not talking the original rishis because no one knows where it started from. But there was always a tradition, a lineage, not written at that time, the earliest lineage, but there's always a lineage. Of course, we can go back to the original Maharishi who would sit there, and we talk about the Adi Yogi, who there was no lineage before him. He was the origin. So he would sit there and he would receive, but then he was Adi Yogi, Shiva himself. So everything in the universe is already contained in him. But then we are now moving to theory. Let's come back to the practical.
Okay.
So if you study your mind very carefully, you will find that it is something put together.
Yeah.
And I'll use the Buddha's language. It's an aggregate
Yeah.
of a lot of other things. It's a bundle of a lot of other things.
Yeah.
And it is impermanent. Again, to use the Buddha's word, it's a anityam. It's a Vedanta or the Buddha. Same word, anitya. Impermanent. So it's impermanent, and it's all assembled, all constructed, all put together. And whatever, as the Buddha repeatedly told us, whatever is put together will fall apart. So if you look long enough at the mind, your mind will fall apart. Your whole knowledge structure, if you look carefully at it
Sure.
and keep looking at it unwaveringly, the whole structure will fall apart. And you will come to this wonderful state of not knowing. You'll suddenly realize you don't know anything at all, except for what you have directly experienced, realized for yourself. You don't know anything at all. It's all borrowed, all derivative, all put together in more and more clever ways. And whatever is put together will fall apart. So is that what you are? You're not. You're not this mind. And the body, of course, is also. You don't register the changes of the body unless, you look at your body on a larger time scale. But your body is also changing. I mean, if you go into medical science, we are told that every 7 years, every cell in our body has changed. But then if you go still deeper, if you look very deep into the matter that makes your body, and you can actually go to the molecular, atomic, quantum level, you'll find that everything is changing in nanoseconds.
Yeah.
Everything is changing. And then as the yogis keep telling us, that think about when you are in a deep sleep or in deep meditation or completely distracted by something, you forget you have a body.
Yes.
And it happened to all of us. I mean, it happens to all of us when we are in deep sleep. We don't know we have a body.
Yeah. But someone
can come and poke our body. We won't know if our sleep is deep enough. If we are in deeply hypnotized states, we won't know. If I hypnotize you and prick pins in your body, you won't know. And if you're in a deep meditative state, you're bodiless. In fact, you've forgotten the structure, the construct of the body. So it's not that the body is constantly in your experience. It's not. If you're very distracted by something mentally, you'll forget the body too. And the body itself is a sense construct. That the body is a sense construct.
Yeah.
Switch off your senses and your body is gone for all practical purposes. So you cannot be the body, you cannot be the mind, you cannot be that which is continuously changing. You cannot be that which has been put together by everything else. So then what are you? And that's where the search begins. This famous search for the self. That's where it begins. When you're left wondering, then what the hell am I? And now nobody has to tell you, you can see it. You can very clearly see that I cannot be this mind and its activities and its constituents and elements. I cannot be that. And I cannot be this body either.
And none of the...
This is an identification, but I cannot be the body and I cannot be the mind. Then what the hell am I? Or what in heaven's name am I?
How and why did Indian education system miss this at all? From childhood, at least, trying
We
to...
have to go a long way back to understand that. I think it started when the invasions began, the first Mughal invasion, and then the Britishers coming in with their Christian education or stuff like that. And not just that they brought in the stuff, they actively discouraged the Indian stuff. You know that, that's part of our history. Though not so popular yet, but it is our history. And that the Mughals first and then the Britishers made it a point that the Indian Hindus, the Indian Sanatan Dharma people, not just Hindus, Sikhs, Buddhists, Jains, were brought up on Christian education or earlier Islamic culture and education. The Sanatan Dharma element, the spiritual yogic element, the Vedantic element was deliberately and systematically kept aside. It is only now, after so many years of independence, and the same thing was done even after the Britishers left. The Nehruvian Congress government did exactly the same thing. For different reasons, but exactly the same thing. They too thought that no, Indians don't need to know the Indian heritage, the spiritual, cultural heritage. So as a result, we were brought up in ignorance of our own spiritual and cultural roots, deracinated.
And this ignorance today is widespread across the world, virtually,
There are,
in its own way.
yeah, now there is an awakening globally. There is an awakening. People are beginning to talk more and more about these things. Influence of Vedanta, of yoga, of Buddhism is spreading slowly, but surely. And there are more and more people, even from orthodox practiced religions, who are now dropping out of those religious thought systems and are beginning to come to what they call spirituality, which is not religion at all. So the search for the self, search for the deeper truth, the subtler truths of our being. So there is a movement now. But still very nebulous, still not very, it's not taken a shape yet. It's still in its initial stages, but it's there. Of course, our education is still totally disconnected from all that, even now in India. Indian education is still totally disconnected from this.
And this Western influence and education, conditioning has made us constantly, evolved us into believing the illusions and not ever questioning or wondering about the reality.
Because you don't need to, because the whole education system is pragmatic.
To brainwash you, to...
It's meant to make you practical, which means what? Which means a cog in the huge industrial consumer
capitalistic wheel. Yeah.
So nobody wants you to learn those things.
And
if everyone started learning all that and everyone started moving towards that end of the spectrum, civilization as we know it would collapse, actually. And then a new one would probably replace it. Saner deeper,
More conscious.
more meaningful, more conscious civilization.
Yeah.
Or this would evolve into that.
And sure, this is helpful. I hope anybody watching finds this helpful. And may I quote one of the examples I heard only from you in response to this question, that why should I care? I'm busy with life. I'm very rich, very successful, reasonably happy with myself and my family and my business and my empire and whatever. Why should I care? I remember you had given once an example in some other conversation, possibly related, applies here if I may quote it for a few seconds, where imagine you have amnesia, you get into an accident and you forget everything. You are a millionaire, but suddenly you go to another place, you have an accident, you forget everything. And now, due to the needs of your body and everything, you start begging.
Yeah,
And you're begging
as a day laborer.
as a day laborer. So you're just trying to survive every day, beg, borrow, steal, do whatever. And then someday somebody comes from outside and says, hey,
I know you.
I know you. You need not beg. You're a millionaire over there. Do you know that? And, this is how not knowing the inner self,
Not knowing your true self is.
true self makes us operate in this world of begging, borrowing, stealing in some sense.
Yes,
Whatever.
absolutely.
So,
And this need to know comes to you either when something in life hits you hard. Whatever you're occupied and preoccupied with collapses, that's when you wake up and you want to know what's beyond this.
yeah.
Or when you've had so much of it that you're completely satiated. It's like, okay, I have everything now. I've been there, done that. I have everything. Now what? If that question comes to you, is there something beyond this, or is just this? Then it comes to you. So either through this or through that, something
Yeah.
opens in you to a possibility of the truth, of the beyond. Then it begins.
Just like the analogy.
Or if someone like what you just said, someone comes and tells you that, hello, you know what, you're not this.
Yeah. So the analogy would be from somebody sleeping. Either you wake someone up, the jolt, some earthquake, something that wakes you up.
jolt.
Which for me was probably COVID. I mean, after COVID, I started questioning why the hell was I doing what I was doing.
So that was your.
As an example,
Many people had
that.
but many went back to sleep.
They went back.
You were amongst those who did not go back to sleep. You woke up.
Yeah. Or you're tired of sleeping 8, 9, 10, 12 hours. You've slept.
Yeah,
How much
you
will you
don't
wake up?
sleep.
How much would you sleep? So just taking that analogy.
Dreams have a very compelling power. It's not just sleep; it's dreaming.
But you get eventually tired of, you finish.
Depends on the dream. What you started with, people are living this dream.
Yeah.
And the dream can be so overpowering, so complete, so
So you can spend lifetimes with this
you
dream.
can spend lifetimes in this.
And they
dream.
do.
Yes.
And we do.
And we do. At least one lifetime you spend dreaming.
Yeah. Great, Partho.
And until you've not tasted wakefulness, you don't even know you're dreaming.
Of course. Would you say this comes to you, the jolt or the end of sleep, or this quest or the curiosity to follow
There's
this
a need
quest?
to wake up.
Does this come to you with the divine grace?
Yes, I mean, when you ask about divine grace, I have to say it because, yes, it's difficult to understand what is divine grace. This life that we live, even in the sleeping, dreaming stage, is by divine grace.
Of course.
The fact that this small blue planet of ours has come together in vast, unimaginably vast expanse of the cosmos, and the right conditions to unimaginable precision. To that point, the right conditions have occurred, and life has emerged on this planet, and life has become conscious, is the divine grace.
Sure.
So what is not the divine grace?
Sure.
So I sometimes feel that if you're still dreaming, you're sleeping and dreaming, that too is divine grace. At least you're protected by your dream. And not everyone is meant to wake up. And if you wake up, of course, it's a divine grace. And what you do after that first awakening, again, is divine grace. So everything is divine grace. The fact that our molecules hold together is divine grace.
Yeah. So I think that's helpful, Partho. Introduction to self-realization, Vedanta, the spiritual inner quest.
I like the role play you did.
Yeah. Well, that's all we are doing here anyways, in life also, right? So it's a play going on. Let's keep playing.
Yes.
Yeah. Great. Thank you, Partho. Thank you for your time.
Conversation.
Good conversation. Thank you.